Chad Lawson is a renowned musician, podcaster and mindfulness advocate. Chad, thanks so much for joining me in the South by Southwest Sydney studio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I heard that it's your first time in Australia, is that right?
It is.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, what have you seen so far?
Well, I went to Newtown the other day.
Yay.
I know. I was looking for, that's just kind of what I lean towards.
Yes.
And then I've had a litany of pastries. I have a giant sweet tooth.
Oh, brilliant.
So,
oh,
yes,
well.
I travel for music and mental health, but really it's for the pastries.
That's brilliant. Is there anything else that you want to see before you go?
Well, I'm doing the bridge climb tomorrow. I know.
Great.
Is that
that's
good or
smart.
bad?
I think no. I think the weather's supposed to be
What
good.
am I getting myself into?
No, you'll love it once you're up there. I've done it. It's brilliant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very good.
you'll
I'm
love
very
it.
excited.
That's great. So what inspired you, firstly, Chad, to explore the intersection between music and wellness?
It was right before the pandemic, like literally months before. I was curious. Yes, music makes us feel good, but why, scientifically, neurologically, what's happening? And that really just opened up the Pandora's box as far as creating the podcast and just going further down that avenue.
Brilliant. And how has that influenced your compositions?
I appreciate you asking that. It's a wonderful question. There are two types of artists, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You have those that create arts because they have to, the David Bowies and the Jimi Hendrixes, right? And then they do it solely for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the other artists that are creating content specifically for someone in mind. And we need both of those artists, right? And I fall in that latter category, where my role is to be the hand that's guiding someone through really difficult times.
Mm-hmm. And can you share some of the key themes or messages that you aim to convey through your music podcast? Which is called, I'll say, Calm It Down. So I should mention
Calm
the
It
name.
Down. Yeah, it's really short, 15 minutes usually, and it's just lighthearted encouragement. I feel like there's a lot of podcasts in this space that tend to be a little heavy, and so I wanted something really lighthearted and engaging, but then 2 or 3 takeaways that you can work on throughout the week that are just really simple, just simple little tips.
That's great. And by the term mindfulness, what does that mean to you?
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought that up, because mindfulness and meditation, I think a lot of people are intimidated by those words. Like, I don't even know where to begin, so I'm not even going to bother. But let's put it this way. What is something you really enjoy doing? Like, what is your favorite thing? And I'm being rhetorical in this question, but like, just being present for that. And I think a lot of times we kind of fill our lives up so much. I have this saying that I say all the time, which is like, we live in a time where we've seen everything, we've heard everything, but we no longer feel anything. It's because we're not present. And so that to me is what mindfulness is simply being present.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you say that in this day and age, I guess, with so much going on, where our minds are sort of fractured in so many ways, that we're thinking of 15 different things whilst we're attempting to do another 2. And mindfulness for me personally is a moment of just pausing and breathing. And that can be enough to be able to complete all of those tasks that you're focused on.
You put it perfectly. It's like you have to have what I call a distraction for your distractions.
Yes.
So do you remember fidget spinners?
Yeah.
Those were a distraction for all of your distractions. And so your breath is actually one of those that you can use for an anchor emotionally for mindfulness, for sure.
And so how do you then, in your creative process, when you're doing something that you're trying to elicit mindfulness in others, what techniques do you use to evoke that in other people?
I try to teach them what an anchor is. And for many people, that can be meditation, that could be taking a walk. But for me personally, what I love about breathing is it's always with us, and it's really simple, and it literally takes 30 seconds. Like if you were to set a timer for 60 seconds and count your breaths, and then just notice, because here's what's happening neurologically. You're getting your mind to focus on one thing, which is feeling your breath, and then you're counting. So you're not thinking, did I leave the coffee pot on? What am I going to have for lunch? Your mind isn't there. Your mind is saying, 1 breath. And then when you notice afterwards, those 60 seconds, how good you feel, you're like, wait, that only took 60 seconds. and just getting into the habit of doing that.
And it's amazing how many people say, I know in the performing world, for me, people say, keep breathing. Just remember to keep breathing. And it's such a simple instruction, but as soon as you focus on that, even for that split second after the person has said that to you,
completely,
you find your focus has shifted or your center has landed in a way. Yes. And your session, which is between music and wellness, which I love that name. What's one takeaway you hope that those that attended your session have?
Simply to be present. But a lot of times people don't understand how to be present. So what I teach them is how to create space, because we have a thought, and then with that thought we have a feeling, and then from that feeling we have a reaction. So I'll say that one more time: thought, feeling, reaction. And when we learn how to breathe through those spaces widen. And then when we have that thought that we just really want to get angry, we have now built in that space of hold on, is this the best thing that I need to be doing right now? Right? So we're building space to be able to feel and to understand what's really in the best interest of us right now, this moment.
That's a great takeaway. Great takeaway. Thanks. And what role do you think that South by Southwest Sydney plays in shaping the future of your field?
Well, if you think about it, it's a young audience, and it goes a massive gap as far as the age is concerned, and it just brings people in. Last night I was walking through the area outside, and there was a band playing, and you just feel everyone's spirits lift, and you're like, I hope people recognize and stopped. And I didn't know who the band was, but I stopped and I just listened for a little while. It's I want to be present with this. And so what South by Southwest is doing is really just bringing this more to the public attention, which is fantastic, because we need to be talking about this. There were panels that were the importance of sleep. I'm yes, this is what we need to be talking about. And I'll finish with this. A lot of people are that's what I've been needing, right? So mad props to South by Southwest for recognizing this and then saying, you know what, we're going to present this because this is what people are asking for, whether they realize it or not.
Very true. And how do you think South by Southwest Sydney can change the trajectory of someone's business or career?
That's heavy, because you're putting a lot on South by. No pressure.
No pressure.
I think it's introduction. I think it's being around, after 5 years of, post-COVID, I think people are wanting to be around other people that are like-minded. And I think this is a really wonderful entry for that, to where it's oh, we have the same interest. And then you're beginning to build that rapport, just being together again. Because I think a lot of people during COVID had become really comfortable in just isolation. And so it's okay, but I want to be with people, but I don't know how to be with people again. And so South by is creating that invitation for people to be together again around something that's enjoyable.
Yeah, and I've heard lots of stories of people meeting in queues, just standing to order food or a drink, and suddenly conversations have sparked up and relationships have formed.
I sat next to a guy today, and his whole talk was about holistic health for animals. And I'm can we talk about dogs? I mean, exactly. How cool is that?
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
That's fantastic. And is there anyone that you would like to see whilst you're here at South by Southwest Sydney?
There's actually a talk with Poppy Reed, ironically enough, that she's doing in just a little bit this afternoon that I really want to go see. And it's talking about streaming fraud and the music industry. So,
wow. Ooh,
yes.
Might try and get to that myself. That sounds really good. Thank you so much for your time, Chad, here in the South by Southwest Sydney studio.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
And you can watch more of these videos at youtube.com/South by Southwest Sydney.